Netflix is losing 1 million subscribers. It lost over 900,000 subscribers. And as you know, reports are saying, the media world breathed a huge sigh of relief. So, it kind of sounds like they're a bunch of haters, but Netflix has been the powerhouse,
They're the leaders still.
the absolute leader when it comes to, media consumption, video consumption. And
And
now,
And I will just add on there real quick, influencer, because with the
sure.
takeover of Stranger Things and Kate Bush's, result of, the Stranger Things placement and Metallica's placement, they are continuing to show that they are just a dominating force. I mean, Stranger Things, that is Netflix. Ozark, that is Netflix. The Floor is Lava, that is Netflix.
Yeah, look, but Netflix I think has been
Oh, for
trying
sure.
to make a real concerted effort to not only just be a congregator of content, right, but to actually
Mhm.
be a platform that creates its own content, right? So
Yeah.
we've seen, like you were mentioning, Stranger Things, Ozark was an original series, and I think they've invested something like $15 billion into different budgets as they're really trying to make this move because now they got competitors. That's the problem. We have now other platforms that are stepping up their game and doing the same
With
thing.
great shows. I mean, Hulu has Only Murders in the Building, which is a fantastic show with Steve
Yeah.
Martin and Martin Short and Selena Gomez that I highly recommend. I mean, all these platforms. Amazon has The Boys, which we started up season 3 on that. You
It's
know,
so
uh,
graphic, guys. I just I was thinking about we were watching one of the
you
episodes and
forget when you take a
you
when you
forget because it's like so colorful and whimsical and you feel like you're watching, like a
fantastic
kid's
show.
Marvel movie or something. And then all of a sudden you see, well, I'm not even going to say what it is because it's so graphic, but there's just really graphic stuff. And then I'm like thinking about it days later. And I think that your brain rationally knows that you're watching shows and it's not real. But I also think your brain doesn't know. I think your brain's like, oh, I just saw someone, get ripped up into pieces. And then you're kind of traumatized by that.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. My thing on The Boys is the reason why I like it, even though it's very graphic. That's really what I think all these superhero movies should be. That really seems like real life. I still have a hard time with
Yeah.
superhero movies because they always have they're always so good. Like the superheroes are always so good. I don't know if you guys have noticed in the world, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. And then a
Right.
side note on this whole superhero thing, I just heard. Is it Netflix? I want to say it's Netflix. I don't think it's Netflix. It might actually be Hulu. I don't know. Or no, Disney. Disney owns Marvel. So Disney is doing the X-Men 97 cartoon. They're doing a remake, which is the definitive
Oh, really?
X-Men uh, uh, cartoon and stuff. It's actually like the comic books, and they're going to be doing a whole series. Just throwing that in. But back to Netflix. I don't want to get too far off track.
Well,
Uh,
let's talk about, for example, there's some people are like the problem with Netflix is that they encourage and provide binge watching experiences, right? So as far as being a platform provider, part of their downfall is their convenience and that they'll have everything there so you can binge watch for, a weekend and then you're all caught up and you've watched a whole series versus forcing you to kind of be on the platform longer. And so they do things to split up seasons, right? We have Stranger Things, they at least split it up by a couple of weeks to keep people on the platform. I mean, isn't Stranger Things like the number one show for them
yeah, I
as far
believe
as,
so.
release numbers? Yeah. I mean, so, they got to do something, but that's one of the criticisms. Stop giving people the access to binge watch everything in a weekend.
Well, but then again, I do like that. I like having that option if I want to watch two in a row when they have it all up instead of one at a time every week because you could lose interest in a show. But the other thing is they're really trying to they're rolling out these new price tiers where they're going to have different versions of Netflix for different ad price tiers. But then I'm hearing that not everything is going to be allowed to be on Netflix. Not that's not going to be all the same programming
Mm.
is going to be on the ad tiers. It's for people that don't want to pay that price. I don't even know what it is anymore, to be honest with you. Um, but there's that. And then, they want to have people stop sharing passwords. I hear in other countries, they are trying to roll out systems where it's like an added fee of like $3 a month to add somebody else to
Yeah,
it.
they're doing
I
some
think that's
testing because they
reasonable.
don't want to, they don't want, look, they have 200 million subscribers. They don't want to upset them even more, but they do need to figure this out because they go at least, I think it's at least 100,000 households, something like that, have the shared passwords, so they're kind of getting it for free. And as a business, they need to try to
No,
stop the
for sure.
piracy.
And it makes sense
But
because what do people really think about it? Us as consumers, and I blame things like Napster and Pirate Bay that got the ball rolling with everything, as far as LimeWire and all these things about just getting stuff for free. It's really decreased the value of music and really decreased the value of entertainment and movies. And people are just so used to getting Netflix for free for years. Now they're like, oh my god, you mean I have to pay $10? Yeah, it's still cheaper than it was back in the 90s when you were paying for satellite and everything.
yeah, but you know what? That
And
the
TV's better than ever.
convenience and TV's better than ever on multiple platforms, so
So
that's the issue.
drop in the comments right now. I see people that are saying they have Hulu, they have Netflix. What are you guys watching? So I know that, we actually don't watch a lot of TV at all. Like at all. But we have just about every service, I think. Like it's pretty
Yeah, and
crazy like what we have.
I think that's probably I think we're actually in the minority in that we just pay the
Because we have
subscriptions
Netflix,
for everything. I think most people are pretty
Hulu,
selective.
Disney, Amazon. I use Pluto for free TV. What's another? I pay for YouTube. So I have YouTube. I can't
No,
stand.
and then you forget. And then you forget that you've signed up, and then
Oh,
you see it coming out of the account, $10 a month, no big
what's the Fresh
deal.
Prince one? What's the one that Fresh Prince is on? That's not
Oh,
Paramount. That's
Peacock.
Peacock. I pay for Peacock. I said Disney Plus. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Highly recommend. Get in that if you haven't get into that.
That was
But I
good.
love it. I love having options. There's always something. I find that I think we mostly watch Hulu because they have like the cooking shows and the Gordon Ramsay stuff, which is like I like easy TV. But we watch HBO Max for like Veep, and we
Yeah,
watch
love Veep. Come on, come
Boys
on. If
on
you haven't watched Veep,
Amazon,
you gotta.
Disney Plus, all the Star Wars stuff and behind the scenes Disneyland things.
I
So
mean, think of Netflix too, right? So it was such a a leader in the industry because we had Blockbuster, and then came Netflix. But
mm,
I feel always the big monsters end up getting knocked out because the competitors start competing in a real kind of way. So even though Netflix is now investing, and let me go back again, it's $15 billion into its
mm,
original series. These other
a
platforms
lot
are
of
doing the
hits and
same
misses.
thing.
A
And
lot
so
of
it's
hits and
tough to
misses.
keep subscribers. Now, as far as the jump of why 1 million people decided to jump ship, I don't know. Maybe it's just as simple as, hey, Disney Plus is now available. Let's
I
go over
think that's what
there.
it is. I think that's what it is. I think it's because it's so easy to cancel and renew these plans, and there's so many different offers. People are just kind of going based on I saw because I know even we were kind of doing that for a while. It's like, oh, because we'll just get HBO for a month so we can see the new Curb Your Enthusiasm thing, and then it's just like out. But then but now it's like, oh, but we got Veep on there, and I think we get a deal with our like Samsung phones. So a lot of companies are doing deals and stuff like that where they're bundling stuff. So I don't know. I think TV is better than ever. I love all the choice I get. There's tons of free websites. I see somebody else said that they use Pluto. I saw Tubi on there. Where you're watching commercials, but I don't
That's
like
such a good
commercials.
point. Chris is like, no live TV, right? I mean, where do I see live TV?
I
Like
have
in
an
bars,
antenna.
right? You go to restaurants. You're old school. You might actually watch it, but like
Yeah, because I
I
get it
stopped
for
watching
local
live
news.
TV. And like my sports friends. All right. So you guys, of course, are watching live TV, but like for me, I have zero reason to watch
Yeah,
live TV, even my news, right? So I can get through different people that I follow or just, on news organization websites, but I'm
I
not actually
got the
consuming it live.
I got the antenna for the house literally just so we can watch local news because there's nothing on TV that I would watch, and I don't even would consume my get my regular news from watching TV where I had to sit through commercials. So, but I do like to see what's going on locally, and so that's the only reason. But I mean, just buy like a $10 antenna from Amazon and
Look, Clinton, you might be 100% correct on this. I am a very just like
big
closed
YouTube.
off person. I interact with so few people, so you guys have to tell me what's the current thing? What are you doing that's helpful? Yeah, so anyway, this is going to be interesting just to see kind of if Netflix can keep its position as number one because it's got some heat coming for it.
Well,
Netflix just sucks. They don't have decent content. Oh, I don't know about that. I
I
don't know
disagree
about
with that.
that.
I think what happened is because we are so used to having so many good shows, we take for granted how much stuff is on there and the fact that you are binge watching it. So like Stranger
And then
Things is
it's kind of like,
fantastic, Ozark is fantastic, and you're done with it, and then you're like, oh,
well, and let's
Netflix
talk
sucks
about
because I got
Squid
nothing.
Game. Squid
Squid
Games. I
Games,
mean,
and they got so
but
much from
are
Squid
you
Game.
right? But there is a lot of garbage also that makes it onto different platforms. However, you define garbage, right?
Yeah,
Because
but that's your
that's
point
very specific to the user.
to how much money they're spending. They spend a lot of money on original programming. Some of it flops, and some of it is Stranger Things. Some of it is these what was that the love show that where they were in a little cube or something like
Oh,
that.
so yeah, yeah, yeah,
Love is
yeah.
Blind,
Yeah, Love is
something like that.
Blind.
I
No, so I
mean,
mean,
they
and
hit and miss.
these are Emmy nominated shows, right? That we were just kind of
Witcher,
talking about. But we have like HBO, Hulu, Apple TV Plus. We have House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, The Queen's
yeah,
Gambit. Those are all
yes,
competing
yes,
shows on these
yes,
other
yes, yes, yes.
platforms. So, in any case, interesting, and I feel like this is not the
Jack
last of,
Reacher on Prime. I need that other seasons. Apparently, there's 2 seasons of that show that are done that they haven't even finished up on that, released on that. I mean, Prime's got some good stuff too.
Yeah, no, I
It sounds
see.
like all we do is watch TV, but I promise it's literally like an hour, maybe a day.
Okay, can I comment on this for a sec? So, Witcher season one, totally into it. My sister and I both were just loving that show. And then season two, I don't know why I couldn't get through like this first or second episode. I don't know what the change was, but I just was so not into it. And it bothered me, and I'm forgetting her name because it's been a while, but the girl who goes from her kind of dysmorphed figure and face and all that, and then she becomes like this
Yeah,
beautiful,
the
witch or
she's
whatever she
all
is.
that syndrome. As soon as I take off my glasses, I'm a hot chick.
Well, and for me, that kind of bothered me. I thought that she was a really interesting and more interesting
Interesting. Yeah.
character prior to the transformation. I don't know, just random stuff. So obviously a really good show. It's murdering and annihilating everything, and there's so many things that they have on Netflix as well, as far as like one quick hour of a behind the scenes on this and that. So they have a lot of additional content that they've packed in to try to get you to stay on the platform to just watch more of that thing that you love, which is
I love
smart.
Ne- I love Netflix. I love all the stuff, and the best part of it is, and I think that what we're also taking for granted is, when I was, and this will be like as the last point I make on it, 'cause we're kind of going kind of long on this, but when I was a kid, when I was sitting there, I used to read comic books, and in the back of comic books there would be this ads where you can you trade in like UPC codes and you get things from comic books like an mail order thing. And one of the things was like a little viewmaster that showed like a little Three Stooges 30-second clip of something, of one episode of something, that just kind of scroll through cheese. And all I wanted to do was sit in my room and watch a little bit of a Three Stooges episode on my thing. And now we have phones that we can watch movies, we can watch anything on, and like it's just the access and how good the content. I don't even really watch movies anymore. Like I'd rather just watch a series. I think all movies should just be made into series at that point. They're way more interesting. But I love it. I love where we
Chris
are.
is saying I abandoned ship too quickly. And you know what? That happens a lot, right? Like Walking Dead.
Yennefer, yeah.
Oh my gosh, on
Yeah.
like some of the just filler episodes and what am I doing with my life anymore watching the show? I love Walking Dead. But yes, I've absolutely, they do that. They kill you. Why don't you just give me the best when you have like the best writers, the best budgets, like these are the
Yeah.
top shows. What are you doing?
But they don't know when they're investing. When Netflix is doing a $15 billion spread around.
Yennefer, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. People keep saying Yennefer. That's who I was talking about, Yennefer.